Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, hopefully we get the John Deere 316 with the Kubota engine running. I've got some new parts in the mail here and been running around like crazy buying parts for it. So hopefully in this episode here we get the tractor running and we'll see how it runs and hopefully everything works out alright. But we got a lot of work to do ahead of us yet, so let's get started. Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and go over some of the things I got here. These things right here are just radiator hose that we're going to be using. And right here I got some new hydraulic hoses made. These are just the regular rubber hydraulic hoses, and I got some new quick connect fittings here for the front of the 316 right here, because I said I had to reroute those hoses around the oil pan on the Kubota engine. So I went ahead and just went with some rubber hoses. We'll zip tie those up or something. I wasn't going to go through the trouble of trying to make some or have some metal hoses made, so this will do just fine. And another thing I got is I got these bulkhead fittings here. I got a little pack of 316 fittings and 516 fittings. That's going to be for my fuel hose, my fuel that runs to the engine, and my return lines. So I got those. I want to be putting that up. And then I got a big thing of fuel line. I got some 1/4 inch, I got some 3/16 and some 5/16 ID hose. I got way more than I need. It's always handy to have a little bit extra around the shop. But I got the Kubota engine wiring harness all right there. This is off the old Kubota mower I had. I'm just going to use most of it for ease. That way I don't have to cut a bunch of my wires and try to wire everything up. And then here's my radiator. I was having trouble. I was going to use the radiator off the old Kubota little garden tractor there, but I was having trouble really fitting the radiator in there. Really the only option I have is in the front right here where the grill's at. And I didn't really have the room for the Kubota radiator because it's a lot taller and just a little bit wider. And this radiator here fits down in there pretty good, as you guys will see later on in the episode here. But this is a radiator off of a Polaris Scrambler 400. We also got the little fan sensor thing here that screws into the radiator, because later on we will be probably putting a fan on this radiator, I would imagine. But that's about all the parts we got to show you here for today. Now we just need to get to work and slap all these parts on there and see if we can get this thing running. Well, after hours and hours, we got most of the wiring ran back here. I got all that wiring off the old Kubota. Got my ground wire hooked to my frame there, and then hooked to my motor. Got my wires kind of tied up all nice and neat here with some zip ties. Got my fuel line ran. That's for my in. That goes into the engine, and here's my return line. Got it running down there. Still need to do some things with it. Got to zip tie it right there, kind of get it held up. Yeah, got all the wiring up right here. Got it zip tied up. Got these boxes here. Not real sure what these are. This one here, and there's a few more things down there that I had to mount to the frame. So there's the battery in there. I hope that little lawnmower battery works out for this engine, getting it started and stuff. That's about all I had room for, was just a little lawnmower battery. Got my cables done up there. I got them crimped. We'll go to the other side here. There's my positive cable. It's crimped, ready to hook up. Got it ran down underneath the battery tray there. Zip tied together. Got my starter wires all hooked up and stuff. I believe that's my temperature sensor, I think. Zip tied that up. Got the alternator all hooked up there. I had to cut my battery box down. I welded this piece back in here just to keep it from hitting that pulley right there. Let's see, what else did I do here? I got my fuel lines ran back here. They're ready to go. And there's a drive shaft hooked up, and my rubber lines are down there too. there's where I mounted my fuel pump right there on the side of the frame, down kind of beside the rear end here. And we'll give you guys a peek underneath here. There's my new quick connects. My rubber hose that used to run kind of up, then went like that, then back down to the quick connects, but I just ran up straight out. Give me a little bit more room for the radiator. Underneath the tractor here, it's still pretty wild looking. I got the wires here for the fuel pump. I gotta hook those up still yet, and then get everything zip tied up. And here's my fuel lines. I gotta get them zip tied up too. Here's my rubber hydraulic hoses. They run back and up there. I got them cut way too long, but I'd rather have them long than short, because I was trying to just kind of match them up with the steel lines that I had. I made them a little long, but that's all right. We'll zip tie those up. We might fix that here in the future. Get some a little bit shorter hydraulic lines there. Something else I thought about doing was running a set of lines to the rear here for a rear attachment or something like that. But we'll show you what we got going on with the gas tank here. This was the fitting that was already in there for the gas tank for the John Deere. Had it coming out of the top here. I'm going to try to use this as my return line. We'll see how it works. Hopefully it works out all right. If not, we'll plug this up with some silicone or something. I'm not real sure what, and then we'll run our return line up here, probably somewhere by the fuel neck maybe, if that doesn't work out right there. But this is where I'm going to put my my primary fuel down here at the bottom. I bought these little bulkheads. They had two of these ends right here on them, but I cut this one end off, and I drilled this hole and made it to where I could thread it in the tank there. So I think that's going to work out pretty good. But I thought I had some like epoxy to put around that, but I don't, so I'm going to have to go buy some epoxy, and then we'll put around this bulkhead right here, and we'll just lube that up real good, and we'll screw it in there, and then we'll let it set up, and I think that should seal that up, and we should be good there. But we're just about ready to go here. I got my there's my temp sensor from the Kubota and the hour meter. See if you guys can see the hour meter down there. 531 hours, I do believe. It's kind of dirty. I kind of broke it, the back side, and that little bit of stuff you see there is just some like clear glue I had that I put in the back of it there, and it ran down in the front. No big deal. And here's the key switch out of the Kubota. So it seems to work pretty good. Got a few things here that I took out of the dash. I took this PTO engaged switch out of the dash there. We may put a new one there eventually, and I got the headlight switch out of the dash there also. I might use the one out of Kubota, but I'll have to drill that hole out a little bit more. And this piece right here, that's off the Kubota also. And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do exactly with my throttle cable. Just the throttle cable on this John Deere, it's not quite long enough really, and it doesn't have enough stroke on it to idle this all the way up. Temporarily, just to test it out, I'm going to use the choke cable probably somehow. I might hook it up to the Kubota throttle here just to try to drive it around a little bit. That's just going to be temporary until I figure something else out. The throttle cable off that Kubota was broke. I may just order another throttle cable for that Kubota, or try to find a used one or something. I don't know if I can get a new one or not. And then we'll just try to put it on this John Deere here, hopefully. But other than that, we still got the radiator mounts to build here, and we'll get that radiator in there hopefully sometime tomorrow or so, and we can fire this thing up and hear it run. So that's where we're at right now. This is day 6. All right, folks, so here's my radiator mount design. I just took a piece of angle, drilled a couple holes in it, put my rubber grommets in through there, and I just centered them up, and I notched out around for where my hydraulic hoses are going to be going. So we'll get this radiator put in there, and we'll see if we can kind of get it where we like it, make sure everything's going to fit, and then we'll tack it in. So we got our tacked in there, so we'll go ahead and put it down in there and see what it's looking like. Now let's put our hood latch and our grill guard on here. So far we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna have to notch out right here by the hood latches so I can get to my cap there for my radiator, but other than that, I think we're looking pretty good. So I just bought this JB weld, plastic weld. I've used this stuff before. It seems like pretty good stuff. This is all I'm going to use for my bulkhead for my fuel tank. I'm just going to put some of this on there, screw it in, and hopefully it works pretty good. Alright, well, we'll just call that good. We'll let that set and dry, cure for about an hour. It's got a 1 hour cure time. So that's basically all it is right there. Hopefully that works out alright for us. Alright guys, there's the radiator fully mounted in place. I welded everything up down below there. That little piece of angle with my rubber grommets in it, I welded that on the bottom there. Still got my front hydraulic lines there. Instead of how they usually they're in here, they come off your quick connects. They usually go up, over, then back down. Mine just go straight through now, so it gives me room for my radiator. My grill still mounts in there. Yeah, things I had to do different is right here, the hood, where the hood bolts to. I had to cut that out of there for my cap so I can access my cap. And it gave me a little bit more room because it does stick up just a hair. If you guys can see that there. But the metal I cut out from here, I made me some little tabs and mounted the top of the radiator to that. I welded it to this on both sides. There's one over there too. And then I just took some little fuel line I had, put the bolts through it, bolted it to that tab. So my radiator is pretty solid now. It's in there. So that's ready to go. Now we need to hook up all the coolant lines. I've got a coolant line that goes there. I think that's the thermostat housing. And then I got a coolant line that goes down here. So we'll probably just run that one out here. Maybe down here along this new frame rail I added. Then possibly up from underneath. Well, we'll probably run it down here. Then we'll loop it up here kind of by the fuel line. So that way we ain't down here by the flywheel. Then the top one, we'll probably take it down, loop it around down here somewhere, and back up to there, keep it away from the exhaust. But it's coming along. Radiator fits in there pretty good. If you guys are interested in the Radiator, that's a Polaris Scrambler 400 Radiator. Ordered it off Amazon. I probably would have just bought a used one, but people was asking a new price for a used Radiator, like $40–50. Then I'd have to travel and go get it and take a chance on it having a hole or something in it. So I just ordered a new one offline for, it was like $70. So not a bad buy. So here's my fuel system here. Got my fuel line running up. I got that inline filter right there. That was already on the Kubota. I just bought a new filter and put it there. Then I ran my hoses down there underneath my drive shaft. Got them zip tied up, and then they run along the frame rail over there. And then back here, you can see them running back there. I mounted my fuel pump right there, down kind of close to the rear end. Then I come back, got another inline fuel filter. Then my gas line is going to come up and curve right into my fuel tank, into this bulkhead fitting I put right here on the bottom. So this will set down on here. Tank will set down there like that, and I'll bend my fuel hose up there to my bulkhead. That's how my fuel system is going to work. And then I'm just going to try to run my return line up through here, up to the existing bulkhead that was on top of the tank for the gas line. Alright folks, so I feel like we've been a long time coming just to get to this point here. So I still got a bunch of stuff I need to do. I need to get a different water outlet for this thermostat housing here. Something that comes out with like a 90. So that way I got clearance for my hood, because right now this ain't going to work out right here. And this air filter, I'm going to have to find something different to do about this, because I just got this hanging here for the time being. We're going to try to get this thing started up. And I'm also going to have to try to fab up some kind of an exhaust, regular exhaust that came on the Kubota engine. It's hitting off my radiator when I tighten it up. So that's 3 things there I got to take care of. But it's killing me just sitting here looking at this thing and haven't had it started up since it's been on this John Deere. I'm going to go ahead and start it up, and we're going to see if it moves back and forth or something. We might even get it out and drive it around the yard a little bit there. But we'll start it up, see if it pump some of this coolant up into these hoses and see how it works. I can hear that fuel pump running, so it's filling up the filters. We might have to crack these lines loose, these bleeder lines, and see if we can get us some fuel up here. Try to start this thing up. Well folks, we got plenty of fuel right there, so I think we're going to go ahead and try to start it up. We'll go ahead and see if it moves back and forth. Oh yeah. Not right now, we will here in a minute. Here's the John Deere 316 with the Kubota diesel running. A little loud right now because I still got to hook the exhaust up. The original exhaust was hitting the radiator, and I didn't like that. I still got a bunch of work I need to do to it. Right there at the top, as you guys can see, the thermostat housing water outlet right there. I'm going to have to change that because that's hitting it'll be hitting the hood, and I won't be able to put my hood on. Got to do that, fix the exhaust. We got to fix the air filter right there. I'm going to have to do something different with that. I just got it hanging there right now. It was just killing me, sitting there looking at it, not being able to drive it. I had to test drive it. Started up, man, it's running good. Tractor seems to have plenty of power too. We'll get some video of it moving here real quick in a minute. But I'm gonna have to get a new front tire. That one won't hold air. It's off the rim now. I kept airing it up, but just let it go. Still got a long ways to go, but it's looking pretty good, coming along good. The hydraulics and everything work. We'll try to hook a chain or something to the back of my truck and pull with it and see what happens. Yep, stalled it there. Let's try it again. Seems to work out all right. Seems like it's got plenty of power. That's probably about all I'm going to be doing with it today. All right, folks. So if you guys just finished watching this video of me doing everything here to the John Deere Kubota swap, all those videos were recorded a few months ago, so I just haven't had much time here lately to edit and stuff and put that video up. So I had more video footage, I think, but I believe I accidentally deleted some of it, like welding the exhaust up. I think I recorded that, and changing this thermostat housing. I don't know if I recorded that or not. Maybe that might have been on the last video on this John Deere Kubota swap. But the last video I already had all this stuff done, but I just wanted to put out a little bit more detailed video. I kind of talked over everything and showed it on camera, but I didn't really show me doing the work, so that was why I released these here couple videos. But this is what the John Deere Kubota swap looks like. It still looks the same. If you guys watched my last video on it of me driving it around and pulling that manure spreader around the yard, and it's probably going to be like this until the winter time, and when I get more time, this will kind of just be a winter project. So a little more time and a little bit more money built up to spend on it. So right now I don't really have the money or the time to work on it, so this is pretty much how it's going to be set in the rest of the year until the winter time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a big thumbs up, and I hope you guys subscribe and stick around, and maybe you guys will see some more videos on this during the winter in December, January months. Thanks for watching.